I can already tell I'm gonna really like this book. I really relate to it. I'm still on the preface where Dr. LaPera is telling their story of, let me see. Actually, I follow her on Instagram. That's funny. She's the holistic psychologist on Instagram. So, So right here, I'm going to read this part. I always thought that I was nothing like my mom, but as these emotional and now physical issues erupted, spilling into all aspects of my life, I realized it was time to start questioning things. And that realization sent me sobbing into a pile of hot mush. Contained in this sad, somewhat pathetic picture was a message. This outpouring of emotion was so unusual, so outside the realm of my typical personality, that I couldn't ignore this soul signal. Something was screaming out for me to pay attention, and there was nothing for me to hide behind in the middle of the woods. It was time to come face to face with my suffering, my pain, my trauma, and ultimately my true self. Today I call that incident my dark night of the soul, my rock bottom. Hitting rock bottom is like a death, and for some of us, it can literally bring us close to death. Death, of course, enables rebirth, and I emerged determined to figure out what's wrong. That painful moment brought the light in, revealing so much of myself that I buried. Suddenly, clarity hit. I need to find change. I had no idea that this insight would lead to a physical, psychological, and spiritual awakening. And so, I want to keep reading, but that part I highlighted and underlined because it reminds me of my dark night of the soul. Around 2000, I want to say, I'm not good with dates. Bear with me. I want to say 2000, between 2010 and 2012 is where I started to question everything. Well, I want to say I questioned and rebelled. For those of you who really have been following me for that long, who remember when I had a blogger website and I aired out everything. So there was a lot of airing out along with a lot of questioning everything. Everything was up for questioning. That's when those doors finally opened. And where she says, for some of us, it can literally bring us close to death. And that's true for me too. Because at that time, it was so intense. Just as she described, it's like the cracking open of, right? And then there's light coming in finally. But that process and how that feels is so intense. And at that time, it's like it throws off everything you thought you were, everything you thought life was, everything you thought beliefs were, or whatever it is. It throws off everything you once thought it was. Whether you liked it or not, it just throws off everything that was familiar. Because now you're finally opening the cracks and letting actual light in. But that process can feel like death, to the point where, like, I did make several attempts on my life at that time. I still have the scars. And I mean, over and over. There's less than a handful of people that I would say personally witnessed this. I say personally witnessed because I was also very open about it online. I posted pictures of my scars as I'm bleeding out. I was very, very public and vocal with my dark night of the soul. But only less than a handful of people personally saw this face to face in front. But death, of course, enables rebirth. And some people get stuck there. I do want to acknowledge that. Some people get stuck there. Not everybody pulls out of the dark night of the soul. Some people stay there and create an identity. I want to make it very clear that although I reveled in feeling it and swimming in it finally, I was never determined to create an identity. But I was determined to feel it all. And that I did. I felt it all. And it was very intense. Very intense. But like she says, I emerged determined to figure out what was wrong. I was determined to the point where I bet my life on it. It's why I have the snake on my arm. I gave myself an ultimatum: either shed the old or die. I did not give myself an option to live in the middle where I'm alive, but I'm suffering in that. No. My ultimatum to myself was either end your life and get it over with, or spend the rest of your life figuring out what's wrong and healing it and doing what's right. And doing right by my soul. Not just allowing myself to go through unnecessary suffering and continuing the suffering of my family onward. That was not going to happen with me. So, and this is true. The painful moment brought the light in, revealing so much of myself that I buried. It's why I live by the quote that's tatted on my back. It's why it's tatted on my back. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. By making your darkness conscious, you actually end up finding parts of yourself you hid to survive. Even if it's parts of you that are amazing about you, gifts even. They all get buried in that pile because at one point or another, in certain situations or circumstances, burying them is what you thought you needed to do to survive whatever circumstance was happening at that time. But it doesn't mean it has to stay buried now. That's actually maladaptive, and it's not fair to oneself. So again, I made it part of like my life's work to go through the process necessary, no matter how uncomfortable, no matter how painful, because I acknowledge it is painful and it is very fucking uncomfortable. But I made it my life's mission to go through all of that and uncover and bring like myself back to life in a way that resembles me and not my past, and create the change necessary for my family moving forward. Hopefully have a positive impact on anyone else. I want to say also that a lot of people are scared to go forward with that process. Once they hit the dark night of the soul, they pull back into the familiar, toxic, whatever it is, survival mode, whatever it is, because although it's toxic, it's familiar. And familiar means safe, although it's not safe. It's actually maladaptive, counterproductive, self-sabotaging. And I want to encourage anyone who's there Just push through. You're already going through pain anyways. Think about it. You're already going through pain. Get something for it. Get something for it. Get something that matters to your soul. That's going to actually enrich you moving forward instead of continuing the pain of the past and just becoming the same old blueprint. You know, you're already going to suffer anyways. Maybe ask yourself what's worth the suffering. What is more worth it for you? Because you're going to suffer anyways. The pain is there no matter what in this process. And for me, there was no way that I was going to suffer for repeating the same nonsense of my family's history or things that I went through. There was no way. I made a stand for myself that no matter what, from this day forward, and I still live by it till today, right now, I still live by it. That snake is there. That I don't mind going through pain. Pain is my friend, but I want my friend to lead me where I want to go. It's onward and upward. That's enlightenment, closer to the true, full nature, authenticity of my soul. I don't have any interest in really any other path, and it doesn't matter what it looks like along the way and what helps influence that. And I honor all ways, but I'm gonna tell you right now, there was no way I was going to continue living with carrying all that. And certain family members, if you happen to watch my videos, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There was no way I was going to live carrying all of that. No. If anything, I guess call it, I'm here to let it all go. I'm here to transmute, transcend. I'm here to integrate. Integration. So to me, that's become part of my life's work. We'll see where that goes. I have an idea. But we'll see where that goes and how that unfolds. But we're going to go through pain anyways. One way or another. Befriend it. Befriend yourself. Befriend your shadow, because your shadow is you. It may even very well be the best parts of you. And push through for yourself, for your higher self. Much love.